Hello and welcome to the program today. I'm Layo Larinde. Let's begin in Mali, where the transitional president and current chair of the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, General Assimi Goïta, has welcomed Niger's transitional leader, General Abdourahmane Tichiani, in Bamako, and it's for the second AES Summit of Heads of State. President Tichiani's aircraft arrived in the Malian capital, followed by a formal military welcome. The two leaders exchanged a military salute and a fist bump before their motorcade departed, greeting crowds gathered along the route. The summit is to focus on activating the alliance's joint military force, deepening economic integration amongst the three countries of Mali, Niger and Burkina Faso, and reinforcing national sovereignty. The talks come after the three member states completed their withdrawal from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. Burkina Faso's transitional president, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, was also in attendance. The three countries formally exited ECOWAS in September 2023 and subsequently established the Alliance of Sahel States. To the war in Sudan, several United Nations agencies are warning of growing risks to civilians and humanitarian workers in the country, even as the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces and Sudanese army battle for control of the country. The United Nations Security Council received their briefings on Monday about the escalating violence and worsening humanitarian situation in Sudan. Mohamed Khalid Kiari, the UN Assistant Secretary General for the Middle East, Asia and Pacific, told the Security Councils that since the Secretariat's last briefing on Sudan back in October, the conflict has again intensified, confirming fears that the dry season will bring increased fighting and renewed attacks on civilians.
The conflict has again intensified, confirming fears that the dry season will bring increased fighting and renewed attacks on civilians. Each passing day brings staggering levels of violence and destruction. Civilians are enduring immense and unimaginable suffering with no end in sight. In recent weeks, the conflict has centered in the Kordofan region, where the Rapid Support Forces have made significant territorial gain. Due to prevailing insecurity, all UNISFA personnel are being evacuated from Kadugli until further notice. As the Secretary General has stressed, attacks targeting United Nations peacekeepers may constitute war crimes under international law and called for accountability. The safety and security of our peacekeepers is non-negotiable. The continued supply of weapons, increasingly sophisticated and deadly, remains a key driver of the conflict. Sudan is saturated with arms. Calls to end these flows have gone unheeded, and there has been no accountability. Meanwhile, the parties remain unwilling to compromise or de-escalate. While they were able to stop fighting to preserve oil revenues, they have so far failed to do the same to protect their population.
Our system is under unprecedented strain and increasingly under direct attack, but it continues to deliver. We continue to strengthen the United Nations presence on the ground in all areas of need, including across the Darfur and Kordofan regions. We have colleagues in these locations. We do not feel safe. Our courageous teams need clearer guarantees so that they can operate safely. The Council cannot allow the horrors that unfolded in Al-Fasher, despite repeated warnings, to occur again in El Obeid, again in Kadugli, in Dilling, or elsewhere. You should please use your collective influence with the warring parties.
We are not here to ask for sheer sympathy from this Council. It asks for partnership in securing peace, justice, and dignity for our people. Our initiative is homemade. Let me underline, homemade. The government of Sudan Peace Initiative offers a clear test of our collective resolve. A ceasefire that can be monitored, disarmament that can be enforced, justice that is not selective, and reconciliation that is not superficial.
Across the continent, more Africans in the diaspora are looking back home, and it's not just to visit for the festive season, but to return, reinvest and reconnect with the motherland. Analysts see this as a quiet but powerful shift underway. Here in Nigeria, many diasporans who come back home are keen on investing in several sectors, from tech and agriculture to real estate, the creative economy and social enterprise. Nigeria is increasingly seen as a land of renewed opportunity. From this diaspora movement, many are asking not if they should come back, but how. What structures are being built to support this return, and what opportunities exist on ground, and especially what realities will returnees prepare, should returnees prepare for. Well, on Network Africa today, we examine the rise of this back to home movement and the possibilities being explored in Nigeria. We're joined now by founders of Connected Africa, Shiji Abere and Nosa Okunsebo. Connected Africa is a platform working together to bridge the gap between the diaspora and opportunities on the continent. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having us.
And I must say, welcome back to Nigeria. And I know it's not your first time, returning to the country, but I would ask the two of you, perhaps Shiji, you'd like to respond first. Do you think a lot has changed since you left?
I think a lot has changed in the sense that there's been new developments in terms of the infrastructure quality in Nigeria. I was even just saying the other day to my sister how the mainland has come on leaps and bounds, and how there's immense quality of light, and roads are so much better than when we were in high school and secondary school. So yeah, I would say there's been change, and I'll say there's still a lot to work on, but 100%. And I think Nosa has a little bit to say on that as well.
Yeah, I think a lot has changed as well from, my personal opinion. I think the one thing that kind of stands out to me is the coastal road, which is obviously seen as a positive development. But I think the reason I see, things this way is because I return to Nigeria every year. So since I left in 2018, I've made it a habit to come back annually. So I'm able to observe, change gradually rather than, expecting dramatic shifts all at once.
Well, outside the country, you both have been making connections to Nigeria. As co-founders of Connected Diaspora, what was the stimulus, for this project, Nosa?
Yeah, so I think Connected Diaspora, started on the back of being able to empower Nigerian youths, back home in Nigeria. So we partnered with a hub called Start Innovation Hub, and essentially they train young people on essential technology skills. So skills such as coding, the use of AI, blockchain, and so on and forth. So it's all about trying to give back to our community here in Nigeria, even though we're kind of abroad.
Oh, and for you,
add to that.
Yeah. Yes, you could go ahead, Shiji.
Yeah, no, I'll just add to that. The stimulus was really in terms of, Nosa and I went to university together, and during our studies, our dissertation was based on stories of Nigeria. And we were exploring a lot of people in terms of the interviews we were doing about the economic impact on technology in Nigeria for young people. So that's how we got the whole young people aspect. And we discovered a lot of talented people, but they're not using their talents to their fullest potential. And that gave us this sense of responsibility to make an impact, to want to do more for people who are our age or people who are younger than us, to give back, because obviously we've been privileged to go abroad and learn, and we felt that is our responsibility to, as we love our country so much, to have an impact on how people our age are also developing and also being empowered. through the ways of this being in Nigeria as well. Not just, so we just didn't want it to be, okay, you go abroad, so therefore you have opportunities. So that is how the stimulus came about. And that's how we connected with NICOM to be able to empower the diaspora to want to know more, want to give back for Nigerians.
Oh, all right, I have 2 more questions for you both, and my next question is to Shiji. At the previous Diaspora event that held last week in Lagos, I heard you say, to Nigerians who may be victim to change in visa policy in their host countries, that they could just come back home. Too many who are at that crossroad that feels tantamount to admitting they failed in the diaspora. What encouragement do you have for such individuals?
I completely understand why many feel that way, but I want Nigerians to shift that mindset. Coming home is not an admission of failure, it's simply a new chapter. The world is changing, visa policies are changing, and sometimes those decisions are outside your control. What is within your control is how you respond. Nigeria today has a growing creative economy, as you spoke about, a booming tech ecosystem, and real opportunities for people with global exposure. The skills you gained abroad, professionalism, structure, uh, networks, discipline are needed here more than ever. So my message really is simple. Coming back home is not a step back. For many, becomes the step that allows them to finally build, to lead, and to create impact in ways that they couldn't have abroad. So it's not a failure, it's just redirection with purpose. And that is a little bit of encouragement I'd like to imbue on those people.
All right, thank you. And for Nosa, are you ever, thinking of coming back home to resettle?
I think definitely the plan is to move back to Nigeria. I think CJ and I always have these conversations, amongst ourselves, and the plan is to come back home, build for our country, and I mean just to touch on kind of what we're doing here at Connected Diaspora. Through our event last week, which was themed "Building, Breaking, and Believing in Nigeria," we brought together panelists who had previously lived abroad but have since returned to Nigeria. So creating a space for honest conversations about the reasons for coming back and allowing the audience to engage directly with people considering the same move. So yeah, I think the plan is to definitely come back to Nigeria.
All right then. Thank you so much, founders of Connected Diaspora, Shiji Abere and Nosa Okonsebo. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having us.
Last week, the Trump administration announced the extension of its travel ban, adding several African countries, including Nigeria, to a list of countries that have been placed on partial visa restrictions. The ban comes into effect on January 1st, 2026, and according to the White House, the restrictions are intended to protect the security of the United States. Well, our Washington, D.C. correspondent, Maria Bird, had a chat with international affairs analyst Dr. Sylvester Okere on the impact of this on Nigeria and Nigerians.
Doctor, we thank you so much for joining us. As we know, this is a very interesting time, to say the least, for Nigerians in the U.S. and Nigerians in the diaspora as well. As we know, just here recently, the president has announced, and the president's administration has announced a temporary or a partial travel ban on Nigerians. Tell us how Nigerians are responding to this. We are in a pretty busy time of year here at the end of the year, so many Nigerians are traveling all over the world during this time of year.
Thank you, first of all, and Merry Christmas. I know it's not a new thing anyway, because there are several countries that were placed on travel ban. So this is not about Nigeria only, to say maybe he targeted Nigeria. But the thing is, there are specific countries or individuals who are seeking immigrant visa or non-immigrant visa. These are the individuals that are being targeted, or B1, B2 visas and so on. But that doesn't affect people who already have their permanent residence or have valid visa. So you can still travel and come back. All you need to do, keep your things together. One thing I know that people should anticipate kind of missing flights, because if you don't go early, and there will be thorough security at this time, the vetting going to be tough. And if you don't arrive early and gate is closed, you might miss your flight. So
You mentioned people that already have their visas, they should be okay, but that brings up a great point around people who have visa applications in play. What is going to happen to those applications? I know that we are all watching to see if this is moving moment by moment. We're learning new things about how this will impact the Nigerian community, and as you mentioned, other countries as well. Tell us a little bit about what those individuals should be expecting potentially for those that have applications in place.
From what I know, the information said from January, right? So I believe I'm not a lawyer, but I think those that have already submitted their information, they're already waiting for their batch and so on. It's still in process. But from January 1, every new intake should expect denial. That's my understanding of it, because it says January 1 effective. Still, people people should be worried. And at the same time, I blame our government, because some of these things were warnings given long ago to keep our security in check, put things in proper perspective, and also where America will be able to share information. Because if you look at the order, it kind of indicates problem with vetting people. So there are a lot of things that where we come from anyway. We need to start upgrading our system. We need to start taking things serious, especially when it concerns security.
You mentioned security, and we know that the United States have put Nigeria on the list of countries of particular concern, and you mentioned information sharing. Have there been Nigerians that have been consulted, that the president has talked to as it relates to how to kind of move things forward so that we don't end up in long-term impacts? Obviously, no one wants to see this as a long-term impact for U.S.-Nigeria relations.
It's up to, that's why our leaders need to wake up, because it's not about talking. It's not about sending everybody to come to America to negotiate, advocate, and so on. There's no point talking when we are not acting. To my understanding, in the last 2 decades, the U.S. government has given Nigeria about $2 billion just on security aid. What did we do with it? None of the system is upgraded. If you look at the list, Ghana is not among the list. What is the difference between Nigeria and Ghana? Nigeria is supposed to be leading. Nigeria is supposed to be, setting the pace. And again, when you look at it, I was going through something that I found out that Nigeria is number 7 in the world of countries that send their students to America to study. Number 7. Do you know that is an opportunity? We think that oil is the only thing Nigeria exports. Sending students, because they are paying school fees, it's not free. That's another way of exporting or spending or investing in America. How about fixing our schools? How about fixing our universities? Since Nigerians love to go to school, we are book people. I remember when I was in secondary school years ago, people that taught me in chemistry, mathematics, and physics were all foreigners. How about upgrading our schools today? Why can't our leaders do that? Something they don't do with our hospitals, because it's okay for them to fly overseas, send their children overseas. I'm sorry this has affected a lot of people, a lot of innocent people. But I am happy, because I'm looking at it another direction. If we have good leaders that think we should be investing and fixing our schools, places like ABU, University of Calabar, BUK, where are they today? Obafemi Awolowo, all those prominent Ivy League schools, they are all broken. We tend to gravitate to something that is foreign, and we can't fix things for people back home. I'm happy that this is happening. If we have sense, we need to do something about our own schools.
Well, the Four Ways suburb in Johannesburg lights up as car enthusiasts deck out their vehicles to the streets for a dazzling Christmas lights convoy drive event, drawing hundreds of people eager to witness the unique celebration. Hundreds of cars are covered with twinkling lights and festive decorations converging at a local shopping center. From Grinch-themed vehicles to Santa sleighs, all lined up one after the other before joining the convoy drive. Event organizer Sam explains their Santa sleigh-themed car, equipped with a precision turbo, which was built to deliver Christmas presents to children's homes across South Africa. The event serves as a charity drive collecting donations for groceries, clothing, pet food and toys, serving local children's homes and animal shelters.
We decorate our cars, we do it all in the name of charity, and we support everything from children's homes, animal welfares, countrywide. It's all set up by the car scene. Every year we do a car drive. As you can see, we break it down Joburg today, all in the name of charity. It's the kids, it's the animals, and that's why we do this. In terms of the Grinch car decorations, it was only about 12 hours in on decorating it. Every year we like to change things up on the decorations. This year we chose the year of the Grinch.
We are doing a convoy of as many Christmas-like cars as possible, all the way through Moray Drive, up to Melrose Arch, and back to Molly's to end here for a lacquer night. So this is our Santa sleigh. This is the second year in a row that we build a Santa sleigh. The first year ever we actually had a Lynx and it broke down every day. So we decided that we would come back better, stronger, faster. This is a 4AGE with a precision turbo, which has also broken down every day. We don't ask questions.
I think this is such an awesome evening. It's such a cool festive time. And I was saying to my family now as well, it feels like we're overseas because we don't have enough places and events that plan and host events like this. I think it's so cool. It brings so much festivity and families and animals and children together. I think it's awesome.
Loving the vibe here.
As we end the program today, here's our fun fact about the continent. Did you know Niger is known as the frying pan of the world? Due to its extreme heat, it's one of the hottest countries on the continent. The landlocked giant is West Africa's largest landlocked nation, with over 80% of its area in the Sahara Desert. And that's it on the program today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Layo Olarinde.